Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is the 105 leFH18B2, the French Tier 5 Premium SPG. It's located on the northwest spawn of Mountain Pass, and it's under the command of rocket2me of W-UNI. Game on! Well, this tank is actually, this Arty is a combination of a light field howitzer, the 105mm, the most produced artillery piece by the Germans during the Second World War, and it's on a Char B1 that was captured by the Germans, and of course they up-armoured them and converted them, turned them into B2s as Butpanzer or prize tank. Now, the 105mm is capable of 410 alpha. It'll penetrate through 53mm of armour, and it's got a 1.91 meters burst radius. But the best thing about this Arty is the reload time. The standard reload 8.92 seconds, but you can see that rocket2me's got it down to 7.22, and that means he can do a lot of damage on the enemy. Okay, T-67's in sight. He's come to the other side of the bowl. He's on the ramp, rounds out. Oh! Ouch! That hurt. 455 hit points. He actually went through the frontal armour of the T-67, which isn't very thick. In fact, it's very thin indeed. And it looks like our Wizzy made a bit of a mistake going forward, because I think he was proximity spotted by that poodle. Okay, fires another round in there, but doesn't get a hit. Okay, over on the ice road, we've seen a VK3601H and an M4A3E8. We're going for the VK first, rounds out. Just goes over the top of him. It wasn't fully dialed in before he shot. You should try and let the aim settle before you shoot, and that makes it much more accurate. Oh, he hit the VK as he was moving up. So he got a nice hit there, a blind hit. Fires another one, gets the KV1. I think it was the KV1 that he saw. Now he's going for the VK. Well, it was KV1S actually that he hit. The VK's gone down, taken out by the Hellcat. We're now going for the Jackson. Now that has thin armour, so if he can get a penetrator on that one, or if he gets a shot on target, he will probably go through the armour. Oh, just landed in front of him. So he's now focusing on the M4A3E8, which of course A3 means it's the multi-bank engine, if I remember correctly, and E8 means it's got the HVSS suspension system. 76mm armed M4. Oh, that T1 Heavy looks very, very vulnerable. Yeah, the M4's pulled back, but the T1 Heavy, yep, he spotted that. Very vulnerable. Yes, you can see he got 122 hit points off that guy. Part of the good thing about Arty is that sometimes you get to learn the values of the tanks you're firing at, and he got another direct hit on T1. And if you know which tank has got the thin armour, then you can do a lot of damage to them. A nice hit on the Easy 8. Come on. Oh, he's gone. Killed by the VK3601H on our team. The IKV takes a penetrating shot, a low roll, 377. He's going to be very unhappy. Fires another one in ahead of his path and gets the kill. That's his first kill. Go for Jackson. Rounds out. It just goes over the top. The Jackson driver was very lucky. That's the T1 Heavy gone. The KV1S and the Jackson are still there. He gets a direct hit on the KV1S. You can see the Jackson's moving that IKV about. And he gets another direct hit. There's the Jackson. Okay, now he can fire his shells over the top of that IKV, but the Jackson's had enough. And that's a nice hit for 81, but he's trying to get out of there as fast as he can. Rounds out. Oh, he gets the kill shot. Lovely. So now 2 kills for rocket2me. We seem to be doing okay down the west side of the map, although there is a Cromwell and the Hellcat down there. But we've now captured the ice road, and we're doing fairly well on the bridge road as well. We're actually kind of short of things to shoot at now. Now, normally I would say change position or move up on the enemy to try and get closer to the enemy. But the problem is that, oh, now a tree went down. Somebody is behind that tree, and it must be an enemy tank. And it's more than likely the Cromwell rather than the Hellcat. Why do I say that? Well, the Cromwell was closer to the pass, so he's more than likely the one that crossed over the into the bushes. Over on the other side of the battlefield, the Poodle that we saw has actually retreated and is now up on the hill trying to stop our tanks from coming up that way. In fact, their Arty seems to be shooting in that direction as well. Our Cromwell has taken Arty hits. The enemy team's got an SU-122A, and they've got another Fifi, the 105 leFH18B2. Yes, the name Fifi La Pew Pew, by the way, came from a member of What Arty Noobs who thought that, well, it's French and it pews a lot at the enemy, so it's Fifi La Pew Pew. Okay, the Poodle's in sight. Now, you have to let the aim dial in. Let it settle as much as you can before you shoot. That makes it much more accurate. Rounds out. This should be good. It is! It's a penetrating shot. 471. It doesn't kill him. And the Poodle does get a kill on our KV-85. But that Poodle is now just a one-shot for somebody who can put a shell in there. We put a round in. No, hit the ground. Okay, the enemy Cromwell and the Hellcat have actually retreated. They're going back to save their cap. There's the Hellcat. You can see just in the bottom of the picture. Fires one snap at the Cromwell. He's using the rock for cover, so he's going to stay behind that rock. Rounds out. A nice hit for 18-9. Keep the pressure up on him. It'll force him out from behind the rock, and that makes him more vulnerable. And he's taking fire. The M10 RBFM trying to get him. Now, follow where the Cromwell's going. He's going to try and get behind that M10. But our Cromwell B's turned up. The M10 goes down. But he was actually taken out, I think, yes, he was taken out by the Cromwell, not by the Hellcat we've just seen. And that Hellcat has just killed our Cromwell B. So now we're firing still a bit snap, but he gets a direct hit for 110. Now, we do have some tanks with us up on top of the hill. There's only 3 left on our team. We're outnumbered 2-1. The enemy has still got both of their Arty, and they've got 3 medium tanks and 1 tank destroyer. But remember, one of those mediums, the Poodle, is very badly damaged. We've just seen the Cromwell B and the Hellcat in action. There's the Hellcat. Ooh, that's a good hit. 167. If he stays where he is going to take a lot of damage. That shell just went zipping straight past the front of his vehicle. He would have seen that, and he would have been a little frightened. We've got to hope that our teammates can spot for us, but remember, this Arty does have a 390-meter view range, but he needs to get a bit closer in order to see the enemy. And the Cromwell B has just shot up past our side. He's engaging the Jackson, who went down into the cap, and we can now see the shells coming in from our teammates. Well, the M41 HMC just shotgunned the Cromwell, but the M41 just got taken out by the Poodle, who is just below us. Now, we're going to be proximity spotted, so you can see the enemy RT shells are raining in already. Now, he has to get close to see that Hellcat down there. Can he get a shot? He goes to the aim. The Hellcat goes behind the rock, but he can get a shot. He's lining it up. Just misses him. Remember, that guy's taken damage already. He's gone behind the rock, so we can't shoot him now. Got to remember, the Poodle's going to be fairly close, but he isn't proximity detected at the moment. He's right at the bottom of the cliff. But the moment we get spotted by the enemy, they're going to start firing in those Arty shells. And in fact, the SU-122 has been spotted by us coming up the bridge road. And in fact, the M4A1 on the enemy team is coming up behind us. Okay, so now we've got real trouble. Gonna have to try and shotgun that M4A1. You need to get closer and to get the gun down, because you can't get good gun depression. But he does get a penetrating shot. The M4 fires into our tracks. Now, we need to fix those tracks. We do. Go for the kill shot. He doesn't get it. Now you can ram him. Unfortunately, we've got track problem. And there's the kill shot. Only 2 hit points, but we're in cover of this rocks at the moment. The enemy RT can't get a shot at us. Remember, the SU-122 is too close. The enemy Fifi is probably in... We're probably in defilade. The rock's covering us. The Jackson's down there fighting it out at this moment with their Hellcat. Unfortunately, he loses, which means now it's just us alone against 2 Arties and the Hellcat. But remember, we've got that 105mm round, which is really fast firing. He's got a 90mm gun, which is not so fast firing because it's actually got a long reload. and we can probably do more damage to him, because remember, we've got 53mm of pen and 410 alpha. That's bigger than the alpha of the 90mm. So we are better armed than he is, and we've got a higher caliber weapon to use. We're expecting him to come to the bottom of the ramp, try and shotgun us, and rocket2me is actually backed up just a little. This is where it gets really interesting. He's coming! In fact, he sees us, and he goes down to the first shot from rocket2me. And now the SU-122 is trying to come up, and that's fatal for him, because he takes a first hit. Now, he does have a 122mm round. He only manages to track us or do damage to tracks. The next shot takes him out. Now it's 1-to-1. Arty versus Arty. Fifi versus Fifi. Both 105 leFH18B2s are going to be fighting it out together to who actually wins this game. We don't know where the Fifi is, but I suspect he's actually been on the way. He's trying to get here as fast as he can. And he's turned up. Here he is. Now, we've got the advantage. We've got cover. First shot goes in. 155. He makes him a one shot. This is for the game. This is to win for his team. And he does it! rocket2me wins the game, carries his team, and gets a top gun on top of that. Who says that Arty battles aren't exciting? That one was riveting right down to the end. That was an ace tanker game for rocket2me in the 105 leFH18B2. He got a shell proof for blocking more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle, counter battery fire medal for taking out both enemy Arty, the SU-122A and then the enemy Fifi. He also got a duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him, a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He got 23 in that one. He also picked up a Starks medal because he took at least 2 shots from the enemy, lost potentially 2/3 of his hit points in the process, and got at least 2 kills and was still alive at the end of the game. That's a lot of criteria you have to fulfill to get a Starks medal, but it's a very good medal if you can get it. He got a Gauze medal for doing more damage, exceeding 8 times the hit points of his own vehicle, a high caliber for dealing the most damage in that game overall, a Confederate for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. With that last kill, he got a Top Gun for getting at least 6 kills, the 6th one being the enemy Arty. You have to scroll the screen to see all the tanks that he actually hit. Yeah, he hit so many in that game. Very well played. Look at the win rate, 21,877. That's a very high score for the Fifi in this game, or leFH, as some people actually call it, which I think is quite funny. But anyway, very well played by rocket2me of What University. Let's have a look at the team score. Well, he easily got the highest damage with 4,285 hit points. The next highest scorer was the Hellcat that he killed, who made a bit of a blunder trying to come to the base of the hill. If he'd actually stuck in the cap area and not tried to come to the base, he would have forced rocket2me to come to the edge to try and get a reset. And in doing that, he would have made rocket2me vulnerable. But yep, he made the big mistake. He got 3,045 hit points of damage, but he ended up getting killed by rocket2me. Third highest damage in the game went to the Hellcat on their own team with 1,752 hit points. When it came to kills, rocket2me got that one as well. 6 kills to him, 5 kills to the enemy Hellcat, 4 kills to their Poodle. And when it came to base XP, he easily did that one. Look, just under a 2,000 base. 1,943 went to rocket2me. 1,005 went to the M10 RBFM on his team. And they were the only 2 players who managed to get over 1,000. With the next highest scorer being the Hellcat on the enemy team with 774. Wow, what a result. Let's have a look at detail. He fired 42 rounds in that game, so he still had 8 rounds spare at the end of the game. 26 direct hits on the enemy, 7 of them were penetrating shots, 22 were splash, 4,285 hit points of damage, of which 3,013 were at more than 300 meters. So you can see 1,200 hit points were done at very close range to the enemy. Let's have a quick look and see some of the penetrating shots he did. Well, he actually penetrated the IKV-65-2 twice in that game. Would you believe that? The SU-122 is very thin armor, so that shot, the first one he fired, went right through. In fact, it may have been the second one that he fired actually, but it wiped him out completely on the second. Yes, he penetrated the Poodle as well. 471 hit points to that guy. Definitely penetrated the T-67 right at the start of the game. 455 hit points straight through the front of his armor. It's very deadly, the 105mm shell, when it hits you, because if it's got 53mm pen and you've got sort of like 10mm of armor, yeah, it's going to go through. It's going to absolutely wreck you. And he didn't penetrate the 105 on the enemy team at the end of that game. No, he didn't get him. In fact, I'm looking now. Did he penetrate any of the others? Can't see them. The M4A1, yes, he penetrated that guy. That was the guy who tried to come up the ramp to kill him. Penetrated him with one of those rounds, claimed all of his hit points, 600 hit points. I don't think he took part in the rest of the battle against anyone else, but he turned up at the gap thinking he could get an easy kill, and boy, did he meet somebody who was way better than he was. So a very fun game. Let's have a look at the rest of the detail. He received 3 hits from the enemy in the game, one of which actually penetrated him, 2 non-penetrating shots, and 1 hit by way of splash damage as well. 355 hit points of damage blocked by armor. 1 enemy vehicle spotted, 13 enemy vehicles damaged. So there was only 2 enemy tanks he didn't engage in that game and get damage on. And he killed 6 of the enemy as well. 430 hit points of damage assistance. Now, on a premium count, he earned 90,374 credits for the battle. And of course, because he was using HE rounds, he didn't have to pay much for the ammunition. So he made a whopping 84,647 credits profit. He also got a mission completion in that, so he picked up 25 bonds, and he took away 4,080 experience points altogether. Yeah, leFH comes from behind. They were outnumbered 2-1. I told you at one point there was only 3 of them, 6 of the enemy. And it all came down to just one player in the right place with the right tool to do the job, and he pulled off an incredible victory. So congratulations to rocket2me. That was a humdinger of a game. If anybody actually wants to learn how to fire the Fifi, that's the way to do it. Of course, I would say the one thing my bit of advice to rocket2me is let that aim dial in on the enemy. If you've got tanks that are confronting each other and they're virtually stationary, let it dial in and get those really accurate shots. And also pick the targets which have got thin armor, because your shells are going to go straight through those guys and you'll get them out of the game, and then you can go after the guys who've got more heavy armor. But fantastic battle. That was really enjoyable, and thanks very much indeed for loading that up to Salty Jedi website so we could see it. If you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.